Welcome back to another SCP reading, dear researchers. Today we're going to be reading SCP-517, Grammie Knows. Now without further ado, item number SCP-517, Object Class, Safe, Special Containment Procedures. SCP-517 is to be kept secured within Containment Locker 51164 in Site 66, facing away from the doorway. A thick sheet is to be draped over the item at all times. Testing is currently prohibited as the nature of the manifestation invariably causes a low-level containment breach. If SCP-517-01 is triggered, personnel are instructed to report to their immediate superior to enact Protocol 517-001. As of Incident 517-1997-M, SCP-517 is to be kept in a dedicated cell at all times. An opaque black sheet is to be kept bound around the object at all times. As of, and it was previously written, 08/25/1997, now it is written 2002, no more testing is to be conducted on SCP-517 without Site Director approval. Description: SCP-517 is a fortune-telling machine. Item stands approximately 2 meters tall, containing a mechanical puppet and an electric candle within a glass and wooden case. Examination has shown an internal layout consistent with similar machines. On the top panel, the words "Grandmother Predictions" are painted on built-in signage. The puppet within is in the shape of an elderly woman with a white blouse and a blue shawl. Item's power cord has been severed approximately 17 centimeters from its base. It appears to have been inexpertly separated from its original power source. No reaction occurs if a coin is inserted into the slot. The item will energize automatically once an hour if an individual, hereafter the target, enters its field of vision. The puppet will turn to face directly at the target, dispense a fortune card from the slot on its front, and cease to function. Process is fully mechanical, and item does not show signs of awareness. See addendum for a transcript for examples of fortunes. The individual who activated SCP-517 will become the target of an entity or number of entities who will attack at 1:43 a.m. local time the following morning. The entity or entities hereby SCP-517-01 appear as a varying number of long multi-jointed arms, between 10 and 3 dozen, initially appearing from a single area. Arms seem to be completely corporeal and can apparently extend indefinitely. Entity will immediately rush towards and attempt to grab and capture the target or targets. If the hunt is made sufficiently challenging, additional arms will begin to constantly generate in close proximity to the victim in order to facilitate an easier capture. Chosen areas are usually low, cramped, dark areas such as basements or closets, and will not shift during a given assault. In all instances, targets have been captured, rapidly dragged into SCP-517-01's chosen area, and savagely beaten until sunrise. Entity has been documented reaching from the ventilation system of an office building, drawing a target into a drop ceiling, pulling a target under a bed, and drawing a target through a sewage grate. Any attempts to intrude on this event will result in human aggressors being drawn into the assault. The remaining victims are reduced to date, there have been no survivors. If more than one individual activate the item in the span of one day, all will become targets of the following night's assault. SCP-517-01 will appear from multiple areas while hunting multiple targets. However, due to the resultant chaos during the test, SCP-517-34C, in which this was discovered, all measures are to be taken to avoid multiple activations. Remote viewing of the expected points of origin of SCP-517-01 during testing revealed arms extending from points around corners and otherwise off-camera, eventually crowding out the video feed. Fragmented, unidentified human DNA has appeared in the areas utilized by SCP-517-01. Ultimate origins are still currently unknown. Addendum: Fortunes. Samples from several fortunes as read by SCP-517. In 1993, how many times should somebody be told to be good? In 1994, your mother raised you better than that. I'm sorry, but fair is fair. Again in 1994, you try to be good. You should try harder. In 1994, yet again, some people don't know how to be kind. You'll know soon enough, won't you? In 1997, people who do terrible things deserve terrible things. You've brought this upon yourself, my dear. In 1998, you'll find out soon enough. In 2002, you look like you've made some mistakes. Some things are unforgivable, aren't they? Again in 2002. Do you think they've forgotten? Incident 517-1997-M. SCP involved SCP-517. Personnel involved: Dr. Augusta Neal, deceased. Site 23, Security. Date 08-25-1997. Location: Storage Site 23. On 08-25-1997 at approximately 13:56, the late Dr. Mail was targeted by SCP-517 while supervising the object's transport to a new storage locker. Security and Site Director were alerted and a defensive strategy was devised. At 23:30, Dr. Mail was loaded into a Foundation UH-60 Blackhawk, 5 security personnel assigned as bodyguards. Helicopter was situated on Helipad 38, located on the roof of the then-empty Cafeteria 1. Non-essential security personnel from Sectors 1, 3, and 4 were armed with blades and stun batons, and selected personnel were granted flame weapons and concussive explosives. Squads were directed to strategic points around Cafeteria 1's main and second floors, and instructed to destroy any instances of SCP-517-01 that appear. As this was the first concerted effort intended to overcome SCP-517-01, all measures were taken. As Cafeteria 1 was not constructed with a proper basement, it was expected that SCP-517-01 would manifest in one of the surrounding buildings. All SCP objects that posed a threat if released by SCP-517-01 were moved to another area of the site. SCP-059's enclosure is located away from Cafeteria 1 and as such was deemed safe. Log of events. At 23:57, Dr. Mail and guards board aerial transport. At 00:05, nighttime illumination augmented by additional floodlights. At 00:36, ground squads assigned to interior of Cafeteria 1 in place. At 00:41, ground squads assigned to exterior of Cafeteria 1 in place. At 01:03, weapons check cold. At 01:10, Dr. Mail expresses an intense feeling of suspense, becomes mildly agitated, attributed to knowledge of SCP object and subsequent paranoia. At 01:20, the last call is made for restroom breaks. At 0130, the site is locked down. All doors and windows capable of being sealed are locked. At 0143, approximately 18 SCP-517-01 limbs sighted to the east of Cafeteria 1, generated somewhere in Storage Center 4B, approximately 40 meters away, immediately destroyed by concentrated weapons fire. At 0147, more SCP-517-01 sighted in the same area. Additional arms generate to replace those destroyed by weapons fire. Several seem tasked to collect pieces left behind. No hostility towards squads reported. At 0155, further instances of SCP-517-01 sighted to the northeast of Cafeteria 1, generating from within several Foundation-assigned vehicles parked between Cafeteria 1 and Storage Center 4B. Ground Squad engages utilizing flame weapons. At 0210, assault continues upon SCP-517-01. Number of arms greatly increase. Between 80 and 100 are estimated to generate at a steady pace from various points to the northeast. Fire damage and destroyed limbs retract out of sight. Pieces left behind collected by entity. No hostility reported directly towards Foundation teams. At 0224, squads report some difficulty keeping up with the rate of replacement. Explosive weapons authorized against origin points. No hostility reported directly towards Foundation teams. At 0239, Dr. Mail and Aerial Squad go airborne. At 0241, arms generate from the walls within Cafeteria 1 ground floor. Later examination reveals the arms had formed irregular holes in the drywall consistent with blunt force. Ground floor squad engages utilizing close quarters weaponry. No hostility reported directly towards Foundation teams. At 0249, SCP-517-01 appears within Cafeteria 1 ventilation system. Roof Squad engages. Ground-based instances of SCP-517-01 are noted to continue reaching in the direction of Cafeteria 1, even while Dr. Mail has gone airborne within the evacuation vehicle. 200 estimated to have appeared. At 0304, SCP-517-01 appear on roof of Cafeteria 1, generating from kitchen exhaust ports. Damage done to structural mesh. Entity engaged. At 0311, SCP-517-01 observed to remove the locked fire escape door on the north side of Cafeteria 1. Said instances generate within Cafeteria 1's ventilation systems. At 0322, 4 SCP-517-01 limbs generating from the exhaust system of Cafeteria 1 reach helicopter. Roof crew alerted and limbs culled. At 0331, Dr. Mail becomes hysteric, demanding that the pilot flee. Helicopter begins moving to the southeast. At 0333, SCP-517-01 generate upon helicopter, seemingly from the base of the tail. Begin attacking the doors. At 0334, left side rear window shattered. Onboard squad engaged with bladed weapons. At 0335, Dr. Mail acquired by SCP-517-01, drawn through window, passed towards waiting arms, subsequently moved through the air towards Cafeteria 1. At 0335, SCP-517-01 limb caught in helicopter's tail rotor. Pilot forced to attempt an emergency landing. Agent Track severely wounded. At 0336, squads report a marked increase in hostility by SCP-517-01. Entity begins replacing arms at a greatly increased rate. Number of limbs estimated at a steady 150. At 0337, Dr. Mail is drawn through Cafeteria 1's kitchen ventilation system. At 0337, Dr. Mail reappears in kitchen. Agent Matheson attempts to sever SCP-517-01 limbs, subsequently captured and pulled towards fire exit with Dr. Mail. At 0337, Agent Germain, Agent Tefler, and Agent Sal captured. Defense squads ordered to stand down. At 0339, Dr. Mail, Agents Matheson, Germain, Tefler, and Sale drawn into storage building 4B through access door. Outside limbs retract and disappear. At 0344, Agent Ted attempts to damage storage building 4B with combat grenades, aggressively drawn into building by exceedingly rapid limbs. At 0345, Command contacted. Mission failed. At 0701, Dawn arrives. At 0710, the collective remains of Dr. Mail and Agents Matheson, Germain, Tefler, Sale, and Ted rediscovered. I promise you, you don't want to know the future. There are some things that no one is meant to know. But, putting that aside, good luck out there. It has been an honor reading for you. Hope to see you all next time, and apologies for the tardiness.